a guy who wears some important blades, Todd Eldredge, and we'll talk to him coming up next. He has won just about every prize in figure skating but an Olympic medal. And now Todd Eldredge is determined to break his jinx. Well, we're back with 5-time U.S. champion Todd Eldredge. And Todd, a disappointment in '92 when you skated in the Olympics, didn't go in '94. I know you are so ready to make your mark here.
Oh, definitely. You know, I for the first time at an Olympics healthy, so that feels great. And you know, when I came here and I saw the rings and got a whole feeling of the atmosphere and walked in the opening ceremonies, it just made me feel great.
How tough was it in '94 to be sitting at home watching those guys that you had beaten in the past?
Let me tell you, it was real tough sitting at home and watching, going, God, I should be there. But you know, knowing that I was skating pretty well and that I could make it, but you know, that kind of fired me up to keep me going for the next 4 years.
And so now you're here and you have your legs under you. How are practices going? How do you feel out there?
Pretty well, actually. Today it was fantastic, and you know, I'm hoping to build a little bit momentum heading into Thursday and Saturday.
And you've changed the short program. Did you put any changes into the long program since Nationals?
I changed a little bit in the long program. You know, I rearranged some of the jumps a little bit and added a little bit more emotion, I think, to the program. And you know, I watched the tape of Nationals and wasn't that excited with what I saw, and I said, you know, we got to make it a little bit more exciting for Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Does that challenge your psyche at all to make changes so late in the game right before the Olympics?
Not really, no. You know, I made changes almost immediately after we got back from Nationals, so I had a good 2.5, 3 weeks to get them so that they felt comfortable and you know, not like it was new.
Well, of course, we have to ask you about the Q word, the quad. You've said in the past you didn't think that you'd need it, but you're going to try it. So what made you change your mind?
Well, we'll see. You know, I'm still really not set on whether I'm going to try it here or not. You know, it's something that I'll do in practice and then see what happens on Saturday. But you know, I don't think it's necessary. I think that the judges are really looking for a good balanced program. If you've got a quad in there, that's a bonus for the technical mark, but you need to back it up with the artistic mark as well.
Is the quad solid? I mean, are you landing it? Are you doing it?
It's been going pretty well, yeah. I didn't try any this morning; it was a little early, but you know, it's been going pretty well, and I'm happy with the way it's going.
Todd, I know you'd like nothing more than an Olympic gold medal here, but like the waves off Cape Cod where Todd is from, his career has had its ups and downs. Todd began skating long ago in a little town called Chatham, Massachusetts. Here's Chris Schenkel with more.
Like the sea, there is something permanent about Chatham, Massachusetts. For over 3 centuries, the fishing industry has provided work to many in this tiny Cape Cod village. And on America's easterly shores, these laborers help to feed our nation. This is the story of one family who has called Chatham home for generations. Some have remained in the town, while others have moved on to different lives. John Eldredge is one who stayed. Each morning, he guides his boat to sea as a commercial fisherman. It is a boat given to him by his 2 sons who have chosen other professions. But fishing is what John has always known.
Well, my father started, he came back after the war, and he started fishing business with a partner of his in 1949, and he had his own business, Chatham Fisheries, from 1955. And we're still, my brother and I still run the business today, still going. He's very dedicated to what he's doing, a perfectionist. And I think that's true of most people, especially in the New England area, I think, that when they make their mind up what they're going to do, they put heart and soul into it. And I think he has done that, definitely.
I think he's right, but I think it also comes from his dad. He works pretty hard at what he does. So, you know, and Todd saw that as a youngster, and he does definitely have that within him. He was only 5.5 when he started, and he started in hockey skates. And Todd, within 2 weeks, wanted to start skating in figure skates because he wanted to jump. and spin, and he couldn't do that in hockey skates. So I had said to John, well, what do you think? Should we do this? You know, we just spent $35 for hockey skates. You know, do you think this 5.5-year-old really knows what he wants? So anyway, I blame it on him to this day because he gave me permission to buy the figure skates. So I did. I got them, and he just he loved it. It's just something he's been driven, even from the age of 5.5.
At the age of 10, Todd left home to be coached by Richard Callahan. Todd and Richard have been together since. Todd has journeyed far from the peaceful village square in Chatham. Destiny was pulling him to a different calling than that of his father. Todd knew his future rested on the thin blade of a figure skate. And like a true son of the sea, Todd let the winds carry him to greatness. In 1996, Todd rose to the podium as a world champion. It had all started with a stubborn little boy who wanted to jump and spin.
It wasn't, well, I suppose it was our decision, but basically it was Todd. He was the one who wanted to stay and skate with Richard. Well, at first we sort of said, well, yeah, it's okay. He'll be back in a few months, you know, he'll get tired of it, but no, boy, he stuck with it and very dedicated.
The whole point was we were driving 2 or 3 days a week off Cape for him to skate, so he would miss school at least twice a week. And, you know, it was very difficult. So one day he said to me on the way back from Boston, he said, you know, Mom, this is ridiculous. Why don't I just go to Philadelphia, train, go to school, you know, and I'll be right there.
My wife spent the time, because we were separated for 7 years. She lived with Todd, and that was her job. And I had to stay home and work the business. And that's really the only regret I have, is I wish I could have spent a lot more time in watching him day by day.
Todd left his Chatham roots behind, but the town would never forget that little boy with a dream. The Eldredge name was reaching out into the world, and Todd's Cape Cod neighbors were taking that journey with him.
Well, for 12 years, we ran a fundraising effort to help raise money locally to keep Todd on the ice. I've always called it a little piece of Americana. It's the kind of thing small towns always did, and it's the kind of thing a lot of small towns still do. In fact, over all these years, there was a team working this effort. And that's something about New England, too, you know. It was a team effort.
I mean, there's a lot of town pride in what the kid has done, and I think those of us who are a little bit closer to it understand the sacrifices, not just the sacrifices that he's done, you know, from the 4th grade, 7 or 8 years his mother was gone, and things like that, but the sacrifices that they made, you know, to put this kid through financial hardships and things like this. So it's been a very rewarding thing.
We feel that, you know, we've added our part, and he's carrying on, and hopefully he can do what his lifetime dream has been.
What do you think of that, Todd?
That's cool. That was great.
Make you a little homesick?
Yeah, right.
A lot of people that have supported you through the years. What's it mean to you?
It means a lot. You know, it means a great deal to know that you know, I've got the whole hometown. They'll be rooting for me when I go out to compete, and you know, it feels great.
You know, at 10 years old, most kids are riding their bikes in their backyard and playing video games with their friends, and you knew what you wanted. I mean, you chose to leave home. How does it make you feel that your parents just supported you and believed in you at that age?
I think they're kind of crazy to listen to a 10-year-old, but no, it makes me feel good, you know, knowing that they didn't care. They allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do, and you know, they never pushed me into it, and they just said, you know, go ahead, and if I wanted to quit, they would have been fine with it. They would have said, okay, that's no big deal, you know, but they knew that I wanted to keep going, and hopefully try and get here someday.
We heard from Barry Eldredge in that piece. He's not a relative, but a very close friend, and he passed away a few weeks ago. Tell me a little bit about him and what he has meant to your career.
Well, he's been there for a long time for me, and he's real good friends with my parents, and he's kind of been a little bit of an inspiration for me this whole year, a little bit. As far as I had an arrangement this year with raising some money for cancer research, and he died of lung cancer, and so it's something that hopefully after this competition's over, I can keep continuing to help with that.
Your life has been such a cocoon for so long. Do you feel like you've missed out on anything growing up?
Not really. Maybe you could say I missed out on going to the school dances and things like that, but I've had a great life, and I haven't really been totally focused and tunnel zoned on skating. I've done other things. I've played golf, and I do a lot of other things to take my mind off of skating. So and I've done a lot of other things that a lot of kids that just kind of go to school and do the normal thing, wouldn't get a chance to do. In the lean years, your hometown took care of you. They helped you financially, and recently you've been able to give something back to them. Tell us about that. Well, I made a donation last year to the Chatham Recreation Fund, so that hopefully someday some other kid from Chatham who wants to either skate or do something in sports or whatnot, will have that opportunity.
Have you dreamed of standing on that podium?
Many times. I think anybody that gets to this level, does. It's something that it's a dream, and you have to dream about it in order for it to come true.
Is Tara going to be there to watch you skate? She's been such a great support for you. She has. She's been fantastic, and I think it's been great for both of us to train together, because we both work really hard, and we both know what each other wants, and that's to be standing on that podium, and hopefully she'll be there. Are you ready, and what do you expect will happen? I don't know what's going to happen. I just really hope that when I go out on Thursday that I skate a good clean short and set myself up for being able to skate good in the long and hopefully stand on top of that podium. All right, Todd. Good luck. Thanks a lot for being with us. Thanks. And we'll be right back.
Coming up, we'll meet the other half of the American men's contingent. Michael Weiss joins us next. At the recent U.S. National Championships, American Michael Weiss attempted the quad lutz. Right now, he's the only man in the world to try this jump in competition. It wasn't perfect, but Michael's program was good enough to send him to Nagano. Let's join Peter on the set.
All right, well, joining us now, national silver medalist Michael Weiss and Audrey Wissiger, his coach. Congratulations on the national championships.
Thank
What's
you.
your impressions of being here so far?
It's been awesome. I mean, you have so many expectations of an Olympic Games, and there's so much in your mind of what it's going to be like, and so far everything has exceeded anything I could imagine.
Absolutely, and of course, your longtime coach is sitting beside you. Now,
Right.
When did you start coaching, Michael?
Mike was 9 years old, so that's almost 14 years now, and it's been a great trip.
Did you ever think that you'd both end up at the Olympic Games?
Definitely. I had never had any doubt in my mind we'd be here.
You're surrounded by all of these world champions, Todd Eldredge, Elvis Stojko, but now you're one of the guys. Do they push you?
Obviously, I mean, they're basically what I'm striving to become. They're both world champions, and they're both trying to become the Olympic champion, and there's so many favorites right now in men's figure skating that it's going to be an incredible competition. There's so many men that can do so many things, and it's basically going to come down to who puts it together on that night on both programs. And I'm really looking forward to just going out there and skating with the best in the world.
So, is anybody giving you any advice?
Not really.
I didn't think so. Not in men's figure skating.
No, not really. Basically, I'm just trying to work my own rhythm and do my own thing. I've done all the preparation and everything I need to do to get to this point. So now I'm just going to have fun and go out and do a good skate.
Well, I'll tell you, watching you at the national championships get this close to the quadruple lutz, I mean, it was almost there.
Right.
I mean, how difficult is that?
It's a very physically demanding jump. I mean, it's something that requires all my concentration and all my energy, and I think that's what's great about the jump is when you go out to compete, it's something that you need all your senses and everything has to be perfect to do. And I think, what better place to do that than the Olympic Games in a big competition.
This man wants to make a statement right here. This is unbelievable. It's the hardest quad in the book, though.
Right.
Why did you pick the hardest quad to do?
I think it's because of the position I'm in right now. If I were Todd Eldredge or Elvis Stojko or Ilya, one of the favorites, I could go out and skate conservatively and skate a clean program, but I'm not. I'm in a position where I need to do something a little more special in order to to catch people's attention, and that's what I plan on doing. Last year, after doing the quad troll loop, I wanted to go back and do something that nobody else was doing. There were a couple people doing quad toes, and there still are now, and I just wanted to try and make myself a little bit different.
Okay, we know you can do it, but Audrey, how do you teach it?
Well, the lutz is a really good jump for Michael. He spends a lot of time working on his technique, and we're very, very programmed and placed about how he trains. So for him to advance from the toe to the lutz was a logical decision for him.
Let's go back to 1964, the Tokyo Olympics. Who was here?
My dad. 1964 Olympics.
I mean, I'm so emotional just thinking about that.
Right.
What is that like for you?
It sounds kind of corny, but it's almost like the circle of life, coming back around. My dad, goes to the Olympics in 1964 in Japan as well, and then he has kids and passes all the information and experience along to them, and hopefully I can have that much more insight and a little bit more education on what to expect at the Olympics than maybe the next guy who's here for the first time.
And his advice to you?
Basically to expect anything. The Olympic Games are something where any and everything could happen and does happen a lot of the times, and so basically prepare yourself properly for it and just be ready to expect anything.
Boy, that is just great. Well, we wish you both luck and success at these Olympic Games, and thanks for stopping by and giving us some insight into the men's figure skating event.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thanks, Peter.
Stay with us. A visit with Olympic gold medalist Kristi Yamaguchi next.
When Kristi Yamaguchi was a little girl, a Dorothy Hamill doll was her favorite toy. And in 1992, Kristi dazzled the world and won gold in Albertville. Soon, millions of little girls were carrying their own Kristi dolls. Before her program, none other than Dorothy Hamill wished her luck, and a new Ice Queen was born that night 6 years ago. Welcome back. I'm here with Kristi Yamaguchi. And Kristi, we're used to being on a tour bus skating 80 dates with stars on ice, and here we are next to the practice ice for the Olympics.
I feel like jumping on right now.
Here we are. I mean, it's the Olympics. I mean, for the rest of our lives, we're going to have such a collage of feelings and memories. What are yours?
I think mostly happy and proud feelings. I think I was lucky to have a positive experience at the Olympics. Just remember making the team, first of all, and being so excited about that, marching in the opening ceremonies, and then, of course, coming down in the competition and enjoying both performances.
And one thing you got to do here in Nagano was carry the torch. I mean, I talked to Kitty Carruthers, and she said she was just so afraid to drop it.
Yes, exactly. People are like, were you afraid you're going to trip or something? I'm like, no, I was more afraid of the flame going out because it was so cold and the wind was blowing. But it was a great honor to come back and still be a part of the Olympic movement in some way.
Was it extra special because of your Japanese heritage?
Definitely. A big reason why I wanted to have a presence here in Nagano was because of my Japanese heritage. And, I don't know how I was chosen here in Nagano to be one of the runners to bring the flame in, but it was a nice honor.
When you walked into the Olympic arena, what was your gut reaction?
It's beautiful, and it's so permanent. The one in Albertville is no longer there. I think it's in another.
Sarajevo either.
Yeah, I know. So it's very serene, very calming, and it's a great setup, I think, for the competitors here.
I walked in, and this is my first Olympics actually since Sarajevo, and the tears started. I mean, it was just so emotional. I think, I actually did this in my life?
You look at the skaters on the ice, and you know exactly what they're going through, what their emotions are, and you're proud of them, you're cheering them on, and, it's their moment.
And they are going through a lot. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the competition. I mean, we have 3 U.S. champions that are all out here. I mean, how are we going to stack up against the rest of the world?
I think they look great. I saw Tara practice a little bit the other day, and she's looking stronger than ever. And, Michelle Kwan had a great performance at the Nationals. I'm sure her confidence level is really high. So everyone's talking about the American sweep, and I think it's possible if they all skate well. Who knows? They all look strong.
Now, if they were to come to you for advice, what wisdom would you pass on to them? I mean, heading into this most important night of their life.
I mean, it's always hard to say. It's probably easier said than done, but enjoy it. It's a very intense moment, and years and years have come down to those 4 minutes on the ice that they'll experience. But they're ready. I mean, they all three looked so prepared and trained. Just know that you can do it, believe in yourself, and have fun.
Now, when you ask that question, I mean, I know you and I have been asked, what is it you want to feel, or what are you thinking going into your long program? And you always get, I just want to have fun. Right. I mean, come on, Yama. That's like the last thing you're thinking of at that moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you first step on the ice and they announce your name, it's not fun. You're thinking, get me off the ice, help me, someone. But, it's a thrilling moment. I mean, I was surprised in Albertville how, you feel like you're ready. You want to go. You've waited so long for that moment that you just want to attack it as well. And, you try to enjoy it. I think maybe a minute or a minute and a half into the number.
Can you think in the number anytime do you think, this is actually fun? Or do you wait till it's like the last 10 seconds and you go, this was awesome, this was fun?
It probably is. I mean, I'm sure depending on how your performance went, if things went well, the last 30 seconds, you don't want it to end.
Right. Now, the program will end, and this Olympic week will end, and all of a sudden these girls' lives are going to change so drastically. I mean, in 84,
forever,
I didn't have that many opportunities, but when you turned professional, already the sport was changing. I mean, now you have everything from a book to a Kristi Yamaguchi doll to a satellite dish commercial. I mean, how do you take care of that impact? How do you deal with it all?
It's tough. It's a really big transition, but you know what? I had great professionals like you and Scott to really set examples on how it is to make that transition from the eligible Olympic skating to a stable post-Olympic career. And these girls they're also young. I think the possibility of them staying in and going for 2002 is a big opportunity. And so it's hard to say. I think you have to rely on your family and your close friends who want the best for you to try to guide you to the right decisions.
Okay, I'm going to jog your memory. One last thing. What was the last thing that Sandra Bezic said to you before you stepped on the ice?
Actually, it was a note that she had handed someone to give me backstage, and the nerves are going. You have doubts in your mind. How am I going to do this? Am I going to remember this program even? And her words were basically, for the short program, this is your moment. This is your debut. Be strong, confident, and enjoy it.
Oh, you did.
Yes,
and here you are.
I did.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Roz.
When we return, one of America's Olympic hopefuls, Tara Lipinski.
They're the unsung heroes of every sporting event. Just like a grounds crew in baseball, the ice people at Nagano are doing everything a Zamboni can't. This bucket brigade is hard at work plugging holes, checking ice temperature, and basically making sure there are no bumps on the road to Olympic gold. Well, earlier we talked about a Michelle Kwan sighting, and guess what? There she is, practicing here in Nagano for the first time and looking very much like the gold medal favorite that she is. As soon as word got out that Michelle was skating, the cameras just seemed to follow out of nowhere, just like before when Tara practiced. Earlier, Roz caught up with the other American favorite, Tara Lipinski.
It's here. Can you believe it? No, I mean, I was so anxious to get here, especially these last couple weeks. And I've been thinking of it for so long and imagining what it would be like. And when I got here, it's better than I imagined. So it's very exciting.
And what's it like in the main arena on the Olympic ice?
I love the rink. I don't know if it could be any Olympics and I would love the rink. But I mean, it's great. It's everything I want. The ice is great and I just get a good feeling.
I watched your short program today, Anastasia, correct? What is the inspiration behind both of your programs, starting with the short?
Well, with the short, I take it from the movie, and the girl is like 18, and she's now on her own, and she keeps going, and in the music, the words are like fear and courage and how to get past it all, and at the end it's your dream, and so I think about that through the whole thing. And then my long is the rainbow, and Sandra and I made like a whole little story about like in the beginning. It starts off where we're thinking about it, and the rainbow's my dream, and then, we kind of like run towards it, and it's like, the work, the hard part, and then you get there and it's like raining and you're dancing and the rainbow's there, and then at the end it's mine. So we have a whole little story for both of them.
Well, we're back at the practice rink, and Michelle Kwan is skating behind us, practicing for the first time here in Nagano. Oh, you can feel the change in the atmosphere already.
Oh my gosh, Michelle Kwan's on the ice, and this is what it felt like when the print journalists kind of stormed our little barricade over here, and they ran around and they were trying to find out what Michelle was saying. Rosalynn and I, a couple of minutes ago, were over there talking to her, and she was saying, hey, I'm getting my legs back. We asked her, did you sleep last night? Yeah, I woke up a little bit. But, it's just skater talk for us. But then when we came back, the print journalist said, well, what did she say? What did she say? It's going to... Nothing really that unusual. She's just here to do her job, but we don't realize the intensity, the way the media really follows these people. For us, it's just a practice session, but for the print journalists, and I guess all of us too, it's really a big deal that Michelle Kwan is here and she's taking the ice.
It's incredible.
Well, and that's why she stayed home in Lake Arrowhead. I mean, yes, she was concerned about the foot, but also you want to stay away from this look at this sea of press. And again, you can't get away from that intensity level. We have two women walking in here as potential gold medalists. I mean, talking to Tara Lipinski, you have to come in with such a focus and such a game plan. And when she was talking about her long program, the story about the rainbow, it seems like such a little girl story, and yet this is one serious, confident, composed 15-year-old. She knows what she wants. They both do. But with Tara, her music, it's telling a story of such a special time in Tara's life. She's still part little girl, but still she's turning into a woman. And yet these two are out here just dealing with unbelievable pressure.
But don't you think, when I remember back to the Olympic Games, the most important thing to do was recreate the practice sessions that you had at home and really tune out the rest that goes on around you.
That's a tough thing to do, though.
It is tough, but I'm telling you, these people at this level are so determined to do what they need to do, the job at hand, and that is to try to get their legs under them and get a good run through it.
It's going to be quite a battle between these American women. I can't wait. How about you guys?
Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, well, that's it for today on The Cutting Edge. I'm Alice Cook with Rosalynn Sumners, Peter Carruthers. We'll see you next time.
The Bon Jovi riff to finish off the world's only 45-minute daily figure skating magazine show. It's a standard daily feature here on our TNT coverage of the 18th Olympic Winter Games. Welcome back now to our mountainside studio. The white ring, the final shot that you saw there of the big building, should heat up just a bit on Wednesday when Tara Lipinski returns from training in Osaka and joins Kwan in the 1 p.m. practice session here. That's 8 hours and 12 minutes away here where it's Wednesday, 4:48 a.m. The third American, Nicole Bobek, will arrive on Friday, and like Lipinski, she will be staying in the Olympic Village. Kwan, as you've already been told, will stay in a hotel here in Nagano. The alpine skiers up in Hakabazal.
Well, Ever since arriving in Nagano, three-time world champion Elvis Stojko has dominated every practice session with his amazing athletic ability and presence. And his mental state is as strong as his jumps. His preparation and his ability to focus are second to none. Right now, Chris Schenkel takes a look at what it takes for Elvis Stojko to reign as king of the ice.
No one else is allowed on the ice except for you. This is your domain, this is your space. But when you're out here, you gotta focus. And that is so hard because you feel everything closing in on you when you're out here. There's times where I can't do it. It's too much. I need to get a little bit more focused.
It is not the skates, but often the mind which determines who is the chosen one. No one in figure skating can match Elvis Stojko's fortitude. Helping to guide him on this lonely journey is his longtime choreographer, Ushi Kessler. She has seen both the criticism and acclaim given her student and knows the voyage is far from over.
I think Elvis, ever since I know him, I'm sure long before I knew him, has had a dream what he will be able to do for this sport and to leave the sport better than he found it. It's always this focus of what can I do on the ice.
Since Elvis was 8, he has been guided by Doug Lee, coach of two-time Olympic silver medalist Brian Orser. Doug has taught Elvis to think through every performance on the ice.
He was a young man that really liked to listen, had great eye contact, and liked to analyze, because when you analyze, that means you're learning. And when you're learning, you're always learning together. And then anybody that has an opinion on something that is that analytical, then it always has value. And once you keep bringing things out like that and persevere day in and day out, it's not surprising where you go and how you grow.
When you go out to do any type of sport at an elite level, you're always taking the risk. Always push forward to take them, because that's what entails the challenge. If there's no challenge, then what's the point? Always went for it when I was little and competed. Always wanted to do the most, always wanted to skate the longest, do the cleanest program, always pushing as far as I could go. I never looked back, keep pushing forward. Okay, I got one goal, and as I was getting one goal, I'd be already looking at the next one. I was always active when I was young, and always built a little bit stronger, a little tougher. I could always take a little bit more than the other guy in school, go the distance a little bit longer, and that's how I pushed in skating. I pushed my body that way, and came up with a style along with the martial arts. It kind of integrated itself within everyday movement that I had done.
In the 90s world of skating glitz, old world values matter most to the Stojko family. Hungarian-born Irene Stojko literally crawled to freedom during the Hungarian Revolt in 1956. Steve Stojko also escaped communist repression from Yugoslavia. They have provided for Elvis an upbringing where hard work and believing in oneself is all that counts. Witness Steve's early toughness on the soccer field. It has been passed on to his son.
We were playing soccer and I slipped and I broke my hand. And I thought it was so badly broken that the bones were sticking out. And I didn't realize that the bones were there. So I put my hand between my legs and squeeze it and pull it and hide the bones. And we finished playing soccer. And I went to the hospital next morning. And I guess he got a little bit of that in him too, he's a tough kid.
He was like a little professor. I never forget. We were driving somewhere with him. He would ask me questions. What's that? What's that? And I would tell him. And he said, oh no. And his own imagination, he would explain to me what's that and how it works. And we used to laugh, and I called him all the time a little professor. he was always had his own mind, even then when he was just a baby. He had to have his way of things.
Definition of focus. Being able to concentrate on a single point or a group of points without any distraction, without any external interference for a period of time. That's how I would picture focus. Every time I go out onto the ice to compete, what level am I at? Am I too low? Am I too high? Am I in the middle? Is my body shifted in any way? Is it offset? Is the energy level? What's happening to my body? I'm totally internally focused on my rhythm and what is happening inside. And knowing myself after so many years and being constantly aware of what it is, that's how I focus and where I focus. I know where I want to go, and I know how to get there. It's just I have to go through the process to get there, and I got to believe in myself. And no one else is, even if no one else believes in me, the most important is me. And I got to believe in what I'm doing as an individual, and that's what's going to make a difference.
Joining me right now, the coaches for Elvis Stojko, Doug Lee and Ushi Kessler. Thank you for coming on the set. And Doug, how have the practices been going?
It's been great. Got to Olympics and we just got our feet grounded, used to the facility, controlling the environment, and getting all used to all the how busy it is, like with people like you.
Well, that will keep you busy for sure. Ushi, we have seen the mental side of Elvis Stojko, but tell me about the physical side and the balance, the exploration of balance that he has in his skating.
Well, I think ultimately when body and soul become one, this is what you're after. And Elvis has achieved this total balance. I think it's emotionally he's balanced, spiritually he's balanced, physically he's balanced, and it's just the ultimate. Like Doug and I have always said that there won't be another one like him in our lifetime. So we are enjoying every second.
Absolutely. The spiritual side, it is so strong. How do you get Elvis to the next level when it already appears that he's at the top level?
Well, I mean, it's something that Elvis does himself. I mean, he is his own being, he is his own person, he has his own pulse. And I think the thing that we've reinforced from when he was a young fellow is just that development as a person and allowing him that growth. No one pushed it, we only enhanced what he believed in. And that's what we have right now is a young man that's got that foundation that appears to most people like a rock. But to him, it's something that he's developed over time.
Ushi, what kind of a student has Elvis been?
Well, I think from the very beginning, you couldn't call him a student. He was more a partner.
Really?
In the whole development and the exploration. And I think the thing that was so neat here at the place where we are staying with the Japanese family, they said he's so kind and so strong. And I think those two extremes, because I think toughness and kindness is in the Western society not really something that goes together.
Interesting.
And he has really done that, and he has this total, I mean, the totality of it all. And you're saying, where can he go from here? It's in nature, it's a wonderful thing. As your awareness grows, it's almost as if you get a more sensitive lens put on, and you just all of a sudden see impurities where you didn't see it before. So it's as you're relearning the same thing over and over again. After 8 levels, you're highly skilled, and then a whole new world opens up for you again. And so there's never an end to it.
So it's really lifetime experience.
That's right. There's never an end to it. As long as you're searching, as long as you're exploring, you'll always grow.
You know, something that impresses me, and actually all of my friends that watch figure skating, is the fact that Elvis is a black belt in karate. They say, hey, that dude is awesome, man. That guy is great. But seriously, he gets so much discipline from the martial arts. And does he apply that to the ice?
There's no question. I mean, in growth and development and his mindset, and Ushi spoke well about the physical control, the mental control, the emotional control. being able to deal with an environment, and it's like a space when it's wrapped around you like you're in a bubble, that no one can actually infringe in that space no matter what. And I think that's something that he's worked on his whole life. I mean, you see it right now, but it's not something that just happened now. It was something that happened now all the time, from moment to moment, as you go through growth and development. And that's where he is now. I mean, that's the foundation that makes this man work.
So would you call Elvis competitive, or is it something far beyond that?
Far beyond that. Far beyond that. Because I think, for me, what's the most exciting thing, that he has never lost sight of why he is in skating. And I think in today's sports, it's so difficult to keep sight of that. He wants to see how far he can push the envelope, how much he can give to the sport, and then whatever he gets is like a byproduct of that, but he never focuses on that.
Well, he has given so much to men's figure skating, and we thank you both for joining us today, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter.
We'll be back with more of The Cutting Edge when we return.
School's in session. Professor Sumners and Carruthers teach you Jumps 101. Next. Is what it's going to be all about in the men's competition. Now Elvis may be king of the quadruple toe loop, and Michael Weiss told us yesterday he's planning a quadruple lutz for his long program, while Great Britain's Stephen Cousins might do a quadruple sow cow. Toe loop, sow cow, lutz? What's the difference? Let's go now to Roz and Peter for a quick course in Jumps 101.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Peter, you're supposed to be doing our warm-up.
I am. I'm warming up.
Okay, this isn't another workout video. It's class, and today it's Jumps 101. I'm Rosalynn, and this is Peter. No, not those kind of jumps. We're talking skating jumps. So get your pad of paper and your pen and set those VCRs rolling.
Are you the teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, my teachers never looked like you.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I guess we're talking about jumps, though, so let's try to make it easy. Really, there are three main parts to every jump. The takeoff, the air position, rotation, and the landing. Now, 2 out of 3 parts of every jump are always the same. And will you demonstrate? The first, rotation is always the same. Very nice. And the landing is always the same. What sets the jumps apart is the takeoff, so you have to watch very closely.
There are actually only 6 jumps of varying difficulty. There are 3 toe pick jumps and 3 edge jumps. Now the first one we're going to start with is the Lutz jump, which is very easy to recognize, and it was named after Alois Lutz, one of those skaters from way back when. Anyway, you will always notice the skater skating backwards, usually holding this edge very long into a corner of the ice. They wait, they hold the edge until they're totally prepared, then they take the right toe back to pick, jump, and end in the corner. That is the Lutz jump. And here's Scott Hamilton's triple Lutz. See how he holds the back edge all the way into the corner of the ice, picking into the air. Now let's take a look at it real time and you'll see how fast it actually happens.
Now the 2 toe jumps that are hard to tell apart, the toe loop and the flip. Let's start with the toe loop. You turn backwards on the right foot and jab the toe in with the left. That's the toe loop. The flip, you turn backwards on the left foot and jab in with the right foot. Okay? Once again, toe loop, turn on the right, jab with the left. Flip, turn on the left, and jab the toe with the right.
Katarina Witt's triple toe, turning on the right leg, picking with the left toe into the air. Now we'll look at it in real time. When it's fast, they're hard to tell apart. And here's Michelle Kwan's triple flip. Watch, turning on the left foot, jabbing in the right toe, vaulting her into the air with enough height for 3 turns. And now let's take a look at it in normal speed. Okay, now we're going to take the edge jumps. The first being the sow cow. And no, it's not a female cow. It's named after Ulrich Saukow, who was the 1908 Olympic champion. Skater turns backwards on the left foot. The right leg stays out. It then swings around and throws the skater up into the air for the rotation. A look at Lu Chen's triple Saukow. Watch her turn on the left leg. The right leg stays off of the ice, swings around, and throws her into the air. And watch at real speed how fast everything happens. The next one is a loop jump, not named after anybody. Skater turns again on the left foot, puts the right foot in. You'll notice the skater will sit on the ice for a while, the weight being over this side. Then you sink into the ice and you push yourself off of that right leg for the rotation. Michelle Kwan's triple loop, watch how she sits on the edge backwards, waiting for the preparation of the arms, pushing herself up into the air. And now at real speed, the weight and the push. And now the jump that is the most talked about, the axel. Peter?
Thank you very much. Incidentally, not named after what's underneath a 57 Chevy. This is named after Axel Poulsen, another one of those guys frozen in time. And it's really the easiest jump to identify. The skater always jumps into the air, taking off forwards, and whether it's 1, 2, or 3 turns, you have to add the extra half turn to land backwards.
Elvis Stojko's triple axel, watch taking off forward, throwing the right leg into the air, a full 3.5 revolutions. Now at real speed, watch how fast those revolutions happen. So whether it's a single, a double, or a triple, remember the axel is always the most difficult of all because it has that extra half turn.
So if you take any one of these jumps, add 3 rotations, you've got your triple jump, and you too can be in the Olympic Games.
And that's your recipe for success. So class is over, study hard, competition is coming up.
You're a great teacher.
Thanks.
Well, I learned a lot, and I know that's not easy to do in sneakers.
Well, do you know, even after 20-some years, my mom still doesn't know the difference between jumps. She thinks if I just stand up, then it must be good. So if you're having trouble at home, don't worry about it.
But a pop quiz is coming up later. Let's turn our attention now to ice dancing coming up next.
Ooh, the ice dancing. Let the fur fly and bring out the sequence. The ice dancing's around the corner. But the couple that really stands out in my mind are the defending Olympic champions, Oksana Grishak and Yevgeny Platov.
Pasha.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Pasha
the big
now.
name change. Oksana Grishak changed her name to Pasha, largely in part because she was always being confused by Oksana Bayul, and it was really irritating her. So that's the reason she changed.
She even changed her hair, and she's got this movie star quality about her, which is, it's a very interesting story. A lot of gossip follows her, though.
There's so much behind that team, but the bottom line is they really are outstanding to watch. They have a lot of dynamic skating on the ice. They're fast, and they are the defending Olympic champions.
And they haven't lost a championship in 4 years, since Lillehammer Games.
It's incredible.
That's
Joe
amazing.
DiMaggio streak. Well, we're going to learn a lot more about this team tomorrow, but for now, for Rosalynn Sumners, Peter Carruthers, I'm Alice Cook. And as we close this edition of The Cutting Edge, we want to clear up one little thing, the pronunciation of the Russian pair's silver medalist.
That's pretty easy. Anton Sikorelidze. Maybe it's my European background, I don't know.
Is a Sikorelidze, is that as hard as a quad?
I just call him Anton. Even my partner, who speaks 5 languages, can't pronounce his name, so it's a lot easier.
Sikorelidze.
Sikorelidze? What's that? Sikorelidze. They just don't get it. It's not that hard.
No speaking. Sikorelidze.
Sikorelidze.
Okay, Anton, can you set the record straight for these fans, skaters, media? Everyone is so confused. How do you pronounce your last name?
You know, it's very easy. In Russian, it's Sikorelidze. In English, it's Sikorelidze too. That's all.
something really special for you right now. From 1969, the year that Nancy Kerrigan was born, to 1980, the year Michelle Kwan was born, pair skating was ruled by one incredible woman, Irina Rodnina. The Russian won 10 world championships and 3 Olympic gold medals, and the only year in which she did not win the world title, she took the year off to have a baby. The last time the Olympics were in Japan, 1972 in Sapporo, Rodnina won gold with Alexei Ulanov. But after Ulanov married Rodnina's chief rival, she teamed with a new partner, Alexander Zaitsev, and those two captured gold in Innsbruck and in Lake Placid just a few months after she had given birth to a baby. Until Tuesday, Rodnina had been the only pairs skater, male or female, ever to have won gold with 2 different partners. It was another time and another place, but a familiar experience Tuesday night for Russian pairs skater Artur Dmitriev. He became only the 5th man in history to win the pairs gold medal for the 2nd time, but the only one ever to have done it with 2 separate partners. Such passion. You see, 6 years ago in Albertville, Dmitriev was, if not a man without a nation, at least a man without a national anthem, when he won his first gold medal with partner Natalia Dubova. With the Soviet Union having crumbled and its satellites and descendants in disarray, Dmitriev accepted that gold medal to the generic strains of the Olympic anthem, competing under a banner nebulously titled the Unified Team and staring at a flag with no particular meaning or resonance for him. Last night was another story, as Dmitriev and his fellow Russian Oksana Grishak listened to the anthem of their heartland. And his face, as you'll see, unmistakably registered the dramatic difference in his heart.
For nearly 35 years, the Russians and the Soviets before them have dominated pairs figure skating, and this year was no exception. Russians Oksana Grishak and Artur Dmitriev took the gold with a nearly flawless program. The silver went to this year's European champions, Russians Elena Berezhnaya and Anton Sikaraludze. And in 1997 world champions, Germans Mandy Wurzel and Ingo Steuer won the bronze. And they're all here with us this morning. We're very honored to have you with us, and congratulations to each and every one of you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Artur, you set a record. You become the first man to medal with 2 different partners. You all managed to do that in less than 3 years working together. And your perfection last night, technically and artistically, was just amazing. How could you do it so quickly?
You know, maybe a little bit easy second time, start from the zero. And we work with Oksana almost 3 years. And
maybe Tamara, our coach, and me, we know the short way to the, to the medal.
A couple of people with a lot of experience on your side, Oksana, but you all skated last. Is it difficult when you skate last to keep your concentration?
Yes, of course, it's so difficult, but we had special practice for this, and it's so much concentrate, and that will help me in this competition.
Anton, you and Elena had 2 significant technical errors, and yet you won the silver. How were you able to regain your mental composure after the not getting the triple the first time? How could you pull it back together mentally?
I have special program too about this, and when I sit at home I think about my program about triple, and I said, it's competition like every competition, and I must skating good and I must jumping, and I try, I do.
And the judges think so too. Elena, you all train and skate with Oksana and Artur and have the same coach. Have you learned something from watching them in practice?
Of course, we learn every time. When we start to skate together, it was big help for us skating with Artur and Oksana. And we teach everything. It's easy to watch and teach.
And I imagine that we will see you in the next Olympics?
I think so. That's right.
Mandy and Inga, are you two looking to go pro now? You've won the first medal for your country, for Germany, in pairs skating since 1980. Is it time for something different now, Mandy?
Yes, I think, because we was a long time in Worlds and Europeans and Olympics, and it's time now to turn to professionals after the Worlds.
Inga, a lot of people tease you two. You're sort of known as, that couple who doesn't get along, or really the couple who likes to play jokes on one another. You'll stay together as professional skaters?
Yeah, of course, we stay together in professionals, and I hope we have a lot of success.
Now, a lot of people were so amazed after the short program. You had hurt your shoulder, your lifting shoulder, and you managed to get through the short program, but there's a big difference in skating 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, right. But, 1 month ago, it was a dream we can start in Olympics, and now we are so happy we won a medal.
So emotionally, you had the adrenaline to get you through that injury last night. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you so much for being with us this morning. Mark?
She began her press conference by explaining why she missed the opening ceremonies.
At home, watching the opening ceremonies, it's not the same feeling if you were there, but I had a lot of things to do at home, and I was able to train more, and I was a little disappointed not being there, wishing that I was there with my teammates. When I stepped into the rink, all I can say was, this is beautiful. I don't know, it's just overwhelming seeing all the Olympic rings and the Nagano signs everywhere, and to really think that all my dreams are coming true, that I'm actually at the Olympic Games.
What is your relationship with Tara?
We're not best of friends, but I think we have a friendly relationship.
I'm just wondering if the whole celebrity thing gets to you.
I never think of myself as a celebrity. I think as more of an athlete. I'm here to do something. I've worked really hard at home. I'm here to skate well.
And we're all looking for her to skate. And by the way, Mark, she also said she is going to do the triple toe loop. She had a stress fracture in her left toe, and because of that, she had stopped doing the triple toe loop because there was too much pressure on her foot. She dropped that from her program at the Nationals, but she says she feels well enough to try it again.
Well, people were making a big deal of two things. One, she is the only person of the women's figure skating team that's in Nagano. Tara Lipinski's up in Osaka, and Nicole Bobick will be coming in towards the end of the week. But she fell down in practice. She got off a plane after 5 hours of sleep, fell down in practice, and the
media goes crazy. Look at, she's falling down.
Did she address that at the press conference?
Yes, and her coach did too. But actually, I asked about her falling down and about all the pressure on her, and the coach got a little testy about that and said, you know, she's fallen down twice since she's been in Nagano. After 2 practices, 40 jumps, falling down twice isn't so bad. Again, that comes from being under the microscope. You know, she's faced a little bit of criticism, I think, because she's not staying in the athletes' village, because she missed the opening ceremony, and so I think there's even more attention on her than there would otherwise be.
Well, you know, she is the favorite for the gold, but she still is 17. Does she look 17 up close? I mean, can you see the little girl up there?
You know when you can see the little girl is when she turns to her coach to say, you know, she'll be answering a question, but she'll turn to her coach like, am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? You say she's a favorite for the gold, but a lot of people are saying Tara is too. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch. And it was also interesting to hear her say, we're not best friends, but we have a friendly relationship, and she let it go at that.
Ali and Frazier.
Yeah.
Ali and Frazier. Hattie Kaufman, good to see you. We'll be back with a lot more of our Olympic coverage coming up next.
No. Shall We Dance is the name of the best Japanese movie of 1997. It's the story of an uptight, middle-aged man who puts a little spring in his step when he goes to dance class. Shall We Dance becomes the theme of Olympic figure skating when ice dancing begins on Friday at White Ring. The defending Olympic champions, Russians Pasha Grishak and Evgeny Platov, have not lost in 4 years. That's a total of 21 consecutive competitions. Shall anyone beat them? To the cutting edge we go.
Pasha, Pasha, Pasha.
Oh, I love the camera. Of course. Like Marilyn did.
Will the Marilyn Monroe of ice once again dance from the headlines to the medal stand? Plus, it's a love story on ice. We share some intimate moments with Punsalan and Swallow, the heart and soul of American ice dancing. And Shaylin Bourne takes us step-by-step on how to avoid compulsory overload. All this and much more today on The Cutting Edge. You are looking at White Ring, where the figure skating drama is unfolding and where Olympic history will be made. And next door is the practice rink, where skaters put the finishing touches on their routines and where we bring you the stories every day. Hi everyone, and welcome to The Cutting Edge. I'm Alice Cook with Rosalynn Sumners and Peter Carruthers, and we're going to talk a lot about ice dancing today. But first we're going to talk about some rink notes, some inside scoop stuff. And I know the first one involves Tara Lipinski, who continues to amaze us.
She does. This is a pretty cool story. After her short program practice, she was telling me that morning she was down in Osaka, got on an airplane. First of all, she got up at 7 a.m., then took a flight up to Matsumoto, took a car directly to the skating rink, didn't even go to the Olympic Village, and then went out, and I saw this, she nailed an absolutely perfect short program. So we were sitting in the stands after this, and I said, so Tara, what you've got to do on the day of the short program competition, you've got to come from Osaka, fly to Matsumoto, and then come to the rink and do a perfect short. It just goes to show you that she is totally focused. It doesn't matter what's going on, she's going to go out and nail it.
She's a machine. Well, there's been a Tanya Harding sighting here, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Not the real Tanya. A doll that was thrown on the ice after the Piers Long program.
And not just any doll, it was a blow-up doll, and somebody threw it. In fact, not just somebody, it actually happened to be 2 disc jockeys from Portland, Oregon, threw this doll out onto the ice when the marks were coming up and the little flower girls were picking up the flowers, and it had sort of a cutout of a Tanya Harding face with a cigarette in its mouth. Go figure. And the Ukrainian girl, I don't think she realized what it was, and when they were getting their marks, she sat there with the doll in her arms. And so, yes, Tanya is here.
And how about Israeli champion Misha Shmerkin, who's going through a very messy divorce? His estranged wife didn't want to let him out of the country.
Well, I guess in Israel, if you're going through a divorce, your partner can stop you from leaving, and she had the police right there at the airport, and he wasn't going to get to go. So it was not pretty.
But he got on that plane. He talked his way into it, I guess. He talked the police into it. He got on the plane. I don't know if he's going to want to go back there, though.
Yeah. Well, she's even closed down their joint bank account, so the guy might as well just stay here. Can you imagine?
Well, on the subject of ice dancing, what do we need? We need some more rules.
Oh, definitely. Good update on the ice dancing, though. Wolfgang Kunz, who is the chairperson for the Technical Committee of Ice Dancing, that is the ISU, who is the governing body that oversees figure skating Olympic eligible anyway, has made a strong statement. Now, Yevgeny Platov, as we know, has fallen in like 4 of the last big international competitions.
And they keep winning.
And they keep winning. And everybody's scratching their head saying, how do they keep winning? So, these are the rules now.
Okay, here we
if
go.
you fall down for 5 seconds, you get a 1/10 to a 3/10 point deduction. 6 to 15 seconds, it goes from 4/10 to a whole point.
I think if you fall down for 15 seconds, it's like over, right?
It's over. You would think that. But if it goes from 15 seconds plus, I would think you're toast at that point.
So is someone sitting there with their little stopwatch, sort of?
Yeah, really. Well, yeah, it's just sort of a general rule. 15 seconds, 1 point to a point and a half. So let's see what happens if anybody goes down in the original dance or the free dance or the compulsories. Will they put this into effect? It remains to be seen.
What are you going to do with a stopwatch or a
As I
count?
said, it's
What?
just a general rule. Picky, picky, picky.
No
but
kidding.
hopefully this will clear up some of the mystery of why an ice dancer can win in spite of falling down.
Didn't you used to ice dance?
Oh, yes.
Way
Many,
back
many years
when?
ago. You know, we really did. My sister and I went to nationals, and we competed in junior dance, and I do have a lot of respect for ice dancing. It's difficult.
Peter, you're so multi-talented. I'm
Well,
impressed.
we came in last. But listen, it was a great experience, and we really enjoyed it, so we went on to pairs. But
Well, there's an interesting story for one of the 2 American teams here. The current junior world champions, Jessica Joseph and Charlie Butler, were very surprised to place second at Nationals this January and make the Olympic team. Nationals was their first senior competition, and now the Olympics are going to be their first ever senior international competition. They've never even competed the Golden Waltz compulsory dance before, and now they get to debut it at the Olympics. Let's take a quick look at the elements of the dance competition. It all begins with 2 compulsory dances where the skaters do the same steps to the same music. Each dance is worth 10% of the total score. Next is the original dance, worth 30% of the total score. In this phase, the skaters are given a prescribed rhythm, but choreograph their own steps. The final phase is the free dance, where skaters are allowed 4 minutes to display a full range of skills to whatever music they choose. One of the top teams here are Canadian champions Shailene Bourne and Victor Kratz. Third in last year's World Championships, Bourne and Kratz are considered legitimate favorites for Olympic gold. At their side is famed Russian coach Natalia Dubova, whose resume includes the 1992 Olympic champions Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko. Let's join Rosalynn Sumners for a chat with Shailene and Natalia.
Well, Shailene and Natalia, thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk ice dancing, and this is my knowledge of ice dancing. It kind of looks like chemistry. And you know, this is the only part of figure skating that the audience at home on TV doesn't get to see. What is a compulsory dance?
Well, compulsories is a lot like figures. When they used to have that for the single skaters, it's kind of starts off the whole ice dancing. It's about technique. It's a set pattern that everyone has to do, and you can really tell the difference between a really good team and a bottom team.
And did you have to pass different levels of tests to get to this Olympic level?
Well, definitely. Natalia can explain the levels to you.
Actually, compulsory dance, probably it's only one part in competition in ice dancing, where the skaters compete with the same steps, same music, same partner. Like, no, I'm just kidding. And every beat, every steps, what they do is the same. Why I'm thinking probably we're talking a lot about the judge this year in ice dancing, and probably it's the most important part to judge this, to see what is better, what is worse, because everybody does the same thing.
And how long does it take to master each of these dances, like through the years of taking these tests?
Well, we do 4 dances a year, and you just train those 4 dances, and they draw out of those 4 2 dances at every competition. Say this competition we're doing Golden Waltz in Argentine, and those are very difficult dances. Those are the top senior dances that you do at this level, and it takes a full year till you really get it down pat and you're at your peak.
How are those 2 dances different, starting with the Argentine tango?
Well, the Argentine, actually the 2 they drew for Olympics are much harder than the ones we've been training all year. The Argentine, it's a different style than the waltz. It's more aggressive, sharp, and you have to show the deep edges. I think the difference between a good and bad team is the depth of edge. If you break down the waist and down, that's what the judges have to look at first for the technique. And the level, the closeness, the positions, the unison, those are the things that you're looking for.
So now that's what the judges are looking for,
Right.
because each step is exactly the same. What are the
Exactly.
viewers at home looking for?
I think it's smart for the viewers to look at the same thing. Just break it down. Don't look at the upper body, just look at the bottom body first. And then as a whole, you look at the upper body for the presentation mark. But the technique comes first.
Now, when I was doing figures way back when, they could be boring at times. Do you find these compulsory dances boring?
You know, I love the compulsories. I can see how it could be boring for the public because everybody's doing the same thing. It's not original. But I think it's interesting if you do cut it in half and you look at the technique, it's actually kind of exciting. There's a lot of people that come up to me and say they like that better, more than anything, just to see the difference in edges and the depth. Even some single skaters say that they enjoy watching it. But obviously,
I didn't get too far on my dances, I have to admit. But the Golden Waltz, it's very special for you and Victor. Why is that?
Well, for one, Natalia is the creator of the dance with Ponomarenko, Klimova and Ponomarenko. So it's extra special, I think, because she had the input. She made it up. I mean, she created it. And at the time, it was the original set pattern for Klimova and Ponomarenko. And obviously, it was an incredible dance because it's been made into a compulsory dance.
Did you ever imagine that it would be at this Olympic level?
You know, I'm so happy right now. I never think about this. Only one thing I know, when we make it this dance for Klimova Ponomarenko, we tried to put lots of technique to show what they can do, how the deep edges, how the equal for the both of partner can be this dance. And I'm so happy right now to work with this dance with Shay and Vic, because they're so great with technique. And also right now we have a second marks in compulsory, what give us opportunity more to work with expression, with artistic expression. And this is great. All the package of compulsory make it, I think it's more interesting for audience, and you can see what is a level couple is. I'm very proud about waltz to see in Olympics.
I think the other thing, there's a risk factor in the Golden Waltz, and that's what makes it so exciting. It was the first time we did it last year, and there was falls. I think every competition somebody fell because it is so difficult, and that's the athletic side in it that there hasn't been in compulsory dances in the past. So I think it makes it exciting for us because we love a challenge.
Well, it's making this so much more exciting for me to really watch it and try to pick it apart and try to learn. Do you think this will ever be called the Dubova Waltz?
I don't know. It's inside Shane Big hands. I think they do the best. This waltz.
So they have the advantage, really, since you created it and you're coaching them.
The best,
you must have the great advantage.
Actually,
Awesome.
I would like to explain why I think they do the best this waltz, because the key of success of this waltz is the deep edges, and this couple really have it, and everybody know about this.
Thank you.
Why look, if it will be my name of this waltz, that will be great.
Now, if you could only judge. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A special love story, Liz Punsalan and Jared Swallow, when we return. They are 5-time U.S. dance champions and 2-time Olympians. Liz Punsalan and Jared Swallow will be trying to better last year's 6th place finish at the World Championships as they put a cap on their Olympic career. Well, Liz and Jared were supposed to join us today on the set, but Liz took a fall in practice. She didn't get hurt, but she was clearly upset leaving the ice.
Well, and the draw came out, and they have to skate first. They have to open the whole evening of ice dance skating first with the compulsory dance. That is the worst place to be.
We all know the disadvantage of drawing first, and for those of you who don't know, what happens is when you skate first, the judges tend to hold the marks. They can't throw up high marks in the beginning because what happens is they box themselves in, and then they have a problem if some really good performances come on down the road. But as far as the fall is concerned, I remember what this feels like. When Kitty and I would skate, if she had a bad day or I had a bad day, we could really rally for each other. We could say, hey, listen, it's okay, stay optimistic, I'm out there with you, don't worry, look to the future. And that's where it really is nice, having somebody out on the ice for you. Sorry, Roz, that never happened to you, but seriously, that is a wonderful thing. So you really use each other as a support team.
Mm-hmm. And Liz and Jared are a married couple. They have a very special story. Here's Chris Schenkel with more.
With each year, I realize even more that I want to be with Liz all the time.
The physicality of what we do is so unique that, that probably most couples don't get to experience.
It takes you a step further into knowing each other, not only mentally, but physically and emotionally. And I think the emotional part of it is where we've learned the most. Liz and I have a real sense of serenity on the ice together. Skating together, creating programs together, creating stories together.
I think they most like to tell romantic stories. It's a story about love, it's a story about the passion between the two people. And this is what we're trying to generate with the years. It's a passion between them, what they have in real life, and to bring it to the ice.
In Lillehammer, Liz and Jared had to bring love to the ice because of a tragedy in their lives. Only 10 days before the Olympic Games, Liz's older brother reacted violently to medication and murdered Ernesto Punsalan, their father.
The hardest thing I've ever done, and I'm sure it's the hardest thing I'll ever do, is have to tell Liz that her father was murdered. And I think within the first 48 hours, the Olympics were the furthest thing from our minds. But in a tragic situation, you also look for constants in your life.
My family was planning on going over to the Olympics anyway, so we sort of decided together that would be the best thing to do, to have something to look forward to and something to celebrate, even though we were feeling pretty awful.
Liz and I felt as though everyone kind of had their hands out, cradling us. There was a lot of compassion in the air. You could feel it.
Skating was really a godsend during that whole time because it was something I was used to doing, and it kept me focused and at ease.
We look back at it now, and there was a reason that we got back on the ice.
Being able to skate with Jared was sort of a gift.
Each routine that Liz and I and Igor have put together, I think has been a routine and a program that reflects happiness, because it reflects the kind of people who we are. And even though we have been through a terrible tragedy, we still have our sense of humor. We still are very positive people.
Home in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, Liz and Jared have stopped looking back. They're planning their future.
We thought it would be neat to, after skating, have something to look forward to doing together. We may find ourselves in the same field of art restoration.
The restoration of art, it's preserving things for the future.
We're thinking by the end of the century, we'll be starting a family too.
She wakes up every day early, in a good mood, ready to attack the day. I'm having a great time dancing with this person.
Boy, not only can they dance on the ice, they can dance through a field of flowers. How romantic.
Oh, I'm going to watch them on the ice in the competition with just a whole new feeling. I'm going to watch for the eye contact and the way he touches her and the way he guides her through the moves. I mean, there's such passion between them, and she could have never gotten through that tragedy without her soulmate right next to her. And what courage to go step onto the ice in Lillehammer. And here they are 4 years later with a whole new attitude and strength.
Good for them.
Amazing.
It's so true, and what I find so refreshing about this couple is the fact that they really have life off the ice in perspective. So often as competitors, I think people get so caught up in trying to win medals and be the best, but with all that's taken place in their life off the ice, they truly have it in perspective. And that, to me, is more important than winning gold medals at the Olympics or anything that has to do with that.
They talked about starting a family soon. How will that affect their professional career?
I think it only enhances everything that happens on the ice. I know last year, when my sister and I were touring, we have our own children. We're married, separate families. Nancy Kerrigan has its family now, Dorothy Hamill, Katya Gordieva, and everyone's still skating. It just makes you appreciate what you have on the ice when you have a great family.
How special to have your child grow up watching you perform and do what you love to do and accomplishing your goals. I mean, how great is that to teach your children?
And not have to look on videotape to see you.
Well, Liz and Jared are certainly a very special couple. We'll be back with more. Michelle Kwan on the practice ice, looking beautiful.
Just skated a perfect short program.
What a competition
every day.
She has just really come to these practices looking great, and I find that she's getting stronger every day. The extensions are getting more fine-tuned, the jumps are more sound. She's building momentum as the ladies' competition is just around the corner.
She seems to be very together, but so does her teammate, Tara Lipinski. They're both out here right now. They're the 1-2 punch.
Well, and it's such a great rivalry, and they're friendly out here on the practice. I mean, they're both concentrating, but you don't feel any kind of animosity or jealousy. I mean, that's the one thing I think a lot of people at home wonder if it gets vicious. Not at all. They're both just here to do a job, and they're out there doing it. It's great.
Absolutely. I find that Tara and Michelle are truly into their own games, and they're not worrying about each other. It's all about, what do I need to do to skate a perfect program? I really don't think they're thinking about competing against one another.
Okay, we have to shift gears a little bit here. Pasha and Evgeny.
Yes.
Grishak and Plavtov. I got those names right, I think.
Yes, you
we
did.
have to go back to the Russians.
See,
Ice dancing. They have a streak going that's unbelievable. 21 straight wins.
4 years.
Since the last Olympics.
Unbelievable.
Never seen anything like that. Can they do it again?
It's going to be really interesting to see because there's so much brouhaha about the ice dancing event, but really what they do have technically is so much strength within their skating. They're very fast. They have a lot of footwork built in, and one of the things I noticed the most, flair for the dramatic. I mean,
personality.
Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she sort of drives that team with her personality and her air.
They've been on an undefeated roll since the '94 Olympics, but much has changed for one member of this team since this streak began, and we're not just talking about the color of Pasha's hair. Here's Jim Lampley with more.
You see harmony, togetherness, a perfect match. A reflection is not always a mirror image.
Oh, I love the camera, of course, like Marilyn did.
Before Marilyn was Marilyn, she was Norma Jean. This 26-year-old disciple was born Oksana, a common name in the former Soviet Union. It became too common in the United States after Oksana Bayul won gold. Fans began to confuse Oksana Grishak with Bayul, so Grishak changed her name. She won't even mention Bayul by hers.
I am Olympic gold medalist. I am 4 times the world championship winner in ice dancing, and I thought I am the best in ice dancing and I deserve some kind of recognition, not mistaking me to some other person.
For me, it's kind of was difficult because in 8 years I call her Oksana, and then I have to turn my tongue and says, different another name. But I think it will take a little more time to feel comfortable with this name.
But Pasha, it's me. And also it's passion. Passion. I don't get mad at people because if I would be them, I would make mistakes somebody else. But but I really get tired of it, No, I don't see Oksana anymore. I don't know who's this. Who's Oksana? I don't know. She is professional and she's freestyle and I'm ice dancer and I didn't think that we have the same faces, so I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I just have another life now and I don't want to talk about it.
I'm too sexy for my shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
Make me feel like a movie star.
She's not yet an actress, although she has certainly learned well how to play her part.
I really
For now, her entourage consists of her dog and best friend, Vanya.
Давай, Вань. Скорей, иди сам ешь.
Her skating partner, on the other hand, is content to play with mom and dad.
Mom!
Evgeny was always an athlete whose parents stressed the value of hard work. They call his father, a Navy engineer turned jack of all trades, Golden Hands. His mother has taught first, second, and third graders for 40 years.
Шагом! March!
Before 13 years old, I was, it's like almost no childhood because so crazy work, all the time school and at the rink, skating, and no time really to go out with the friends and, like usually guys do, the kids. So I became not very conservative, but I'm really a home guy.
School был такой вот. School.
She said I was in a school perfect, guy. Perfect guy. All the time, answer questions.
Teacher, speak.
Okay, Mom, I'm hungry.
Growing up was entirely different for Pasha, whose father left home when she was just a baby. Her mother worked every odd job she could find to support her only child, all the while trying to interest young Oksana in some activity, any activity.
I started doing the piano player. I play piano, and I didn't like the coach, my teacher. She was so serious, so tough to me and with me, and she was yelling at me, and so because I was keep forgetting the, what I have to play or whatever. So then my mom said, well, what do you want to do? Play piano or you want to go back skating? I said, okay, I'll go skate.
15 years later, she became the youngest ever Olympic ice dancing champion. Now, she and Evgeny try to become the first dancers ever to repeat as gold medalists. Mirror images, despite their differences.
I saw how some people were practicing, training, even Torlin and Dean. They fight, scream, crying, walk away for a while, then come back.
I know how I can yell, but I don't yell at him how I can yell.
And we know we are a team, and we know if we split, this is over.
Boy, as far as personalities go, this team is really night and day.
It seems to be the case, but the bottom line is you have to put down a good performance on the ice. And whether your new name is Pasha or you're trying to be Marilyn Monroe, all of that stuff doesn't matter. And what I find a little weird is they're trying to approach it from the angle of, it doesn't matter what you say about me, just make sure you spell my name right. And we got it, it's Pasha.
That whole Hollywood thing.
And she wanted to change her name because of being confused with Oksana Bayul, but actually it seems like she's trying to compete with Bayul as to who gets more publicity and who gets more stories and more gossip. And
I say forget about it.
Forget about it. Well, guess what? Tomorrow we're going to the Hop.
Oh.
We're going to talk about the jive. Can you guys jive?
Well, I gotta tell you,
my mom has a skirt I can borrow.
This is all about the original dance in ice dancing, and it's a new theme. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Also, Quad Fest time.
Boy, I'll tell you.
The men.
That's incredible. There's a lot of guys that are planning quads, 5 at least. But that's just one element. Let's not get so hung up on who's going to do the quad, who isn't going to do the quad. Even if you do the quad, you still got to back it up with a strong performance. So remember, it's the entire picture on the ice.
Okay, full show tomorrow. That's it for today. For Rosalynn Sumners, Peter Carruthers, I'm Alice Cook. We'll see you later.
Tout dit, et moi je suis. Mes pas sont gauches, mes pieds tout fauche. Je crains les sauts, je cherche en vain les mots. La belle dans son regret. La belle dans son.
Figure skating, powerful jumps, graceful spins, and a couple of outfits that would make Mr. Blackwell's list. Of course, clothes don't count in the standings, and after the short program, Russian Ilya Kulik was leading, followed by Canadian Elvis Stojko and American Todd Eldredge. We want to get an expert perspective on the performances now from Paul Wiley, who won the silver in figure skating in the 1992 Olympics in Albertville, France. I was there. He joins us this morning from Hyannis, Massachusetts. Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Well, let's talk about it. You saw Todd Eldredge skate last night on national television, five-time U.S. national champion. He is third so far in the standings after the short program. How'd he do?
He did great. He did absolutely everything he was supposed to. He did the triple combination, and he got over the double axel that he missed in Albertville, and he has to be really pleased with himself about how he skated.
Paul, the free skate on Saturday counts for 2/3 of the total votes towards the medals. Now, in front of Todd in the standings right now, Elvis Stojko, who's done a quad in competition. Also, Ilya Kulik from Russia, who's actually in first right now, who's also done a quad. For the people who haven't been following it, a quad, of course, is 4 revolutions in the air. This is the big thing people are talking about at the games. Does Todd Eldredge have to do a quad? The jump he's never done in competition? Does he have to pull one off in the Olympics to get the gold? Does he have to pull one off to remain in third to get a bronze?
Well, I think that all depends on how everyone skates and what they put in. But of course, you know, you have Stojko having performed not only a quad but a quad triple combination before on two separate occasions, and Kulik having performed the quad in the Champions Series to win that. I think that everybody is also forgetting Alexei Yagodin, who's sitting in fourth place, right, who performed a quad and 8 triples at the European Championships. So I think that there's a lot of pressure on Todd to do the quad, and you know, I think that you can always say that his skating has more artistic, you know, quality maybe than the others. But in the end, I think it's going to come down to who has the winning poker hand.
All right. Do you think he'll try the quad?
I don't know, actually, because I haven't heard anything about the practices, and I mean, I'm here in Hyannis, which is his home, you know, area, but I don't know. I'm sure that they'll make that decision based on how everybody else is skating. And I think that's a tough position to be in, though, because it's better almost to go with, you know, what you've been doing all season. And it's obviously you want to have the mileage under your blades. And but I mean, that being said, I think the Olympics is a moment of truth for everyone, and it could be the moment to put it in.
Well, we've mentioned Ilya Kulik. Let's talk about Elvis Stojko, who is in second. The pride of Canada, Mr. Quad. He has done it in competition. He's been known as a jumper throughout his career, and artistically he's been getting lower marks. Is this the time? Will this be the skate on Saturday night when the judges and Elvis meet?
I'm not really sure, because last night he skated a very clean performance. and he got 5 7s from just about every judge in the artistic impression mark. So I don't think that, if that's the sneak preview of what the judges are going to say, I don't think that they have bought into the artistic skating of Elvis Stojko. I think that he has air superiority, though, and the quad triple combination and the 8 triples that he'll be performing. He's got incredible experience doing those things, and in the end, it's going to come down to people performing all night long. And we saw in the pairs that it's very unpredictable, and people make mistakes. There's a lot of pressure, and it just becomes very difficult to perform all of the moves in a 4.5-minute period of time on the moment that matters in your whole career. So, wish them all luck, basically.
Well, Paul, you've been in this situation before in Albertville. You took home the silver. What's going through a skater's mind right now between the short program and the free skate? What are you trying to keep focused on? What are you trying to keep out of your kitchen, as they say, out of your mind, so that you're pure when you get on that ice on Saturday?
Everything. You're trying to keep everything out of your mind except for performing the jumps and performing the program. I think that everyone has to rely on the preparations that they've already made, and you can't get tricky at the last minute. This again is everything for them. All the top 3 skaters can win. It doesn't matter what happened in the short program. They have to put that behind them. The long program is all that matters, and the competition will be won by one of those 3 guys.
Paul Wiley, thank you very much for being with us, and congratulations years later, as everyone has told you, for the silver in Albertville.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
It was a miracle.
Thank you. Jane? All right, well, the ladies figure skating competition is the hottest ticket in Nagano, and the U.S. ladies team is considered one of the strongest ever. Today I went in search of the American lady that everyone says is the one to beat, Michelle Kwan. That's White Ring right there. That's figure skating headquarters, where the women will be duking it out for the gold a week from now. But we're not going in there. We're going in here. This is the practice rink, where Michelle Kwan will be getting ready for that big night. Come on, let's take a look. Although this is only practice, Michelle Kwan and her main rival, Tara Lipinski, both have their game faces on. Michelle Kwan fell early in her practice session today, but you know what they say about when you fall off of a horse, get right back on it? Well, she went back to the same spot, tried the same jump, and nailed it. Michelle, when you're out there doing your program, going step by step, jump by jump, what do you want to be going through your mind? What's going through your mind?
Well, I set a tempo before my program, and I, do step by step, and I think one thing at a time. And when I do triple lutz or triple flip, it's quick at the arm and quick feet, which I was a little slow in today, but it's okay.
Michelle, you are a great champion. For the great champions through history, it's always exciting to have someone who is pushing them to go to greater heights. To have Tara as a champion as well. What's that like to have somebody who takes you to places that maybe you didn't even know you could go?
Well, I think it's great having a competitor right there. It makes you improve faster, and it kind of puts you in line all the time. I mean, I train with Nicole every day, and it's like competition every day. You push yourself, and you're like, let's see who can do. It's like it's competition, and you afterwards when everything is done and you skated already, and you look and you compare and you take in inspiration from each skater, and you think about why they're so good, and you look at it and say, how can I improve my skating?
And Tara's take on that?
Well, I think any competitor that's right behind you always pushes you, but mostly when you're out there yourself is what counts. But I mean, it is good to have other competitors to keep you working.
Michelle Kwan was injured last fall, but she's come back strong in '98, easily winning the Nationals, and she's the odds-on favorite to bring home the gold. What did you learn about skating that maybe it sort of went by quickly as you're doing it? And also, what did you learn about yourself?
I think I've grown up a lot since Lillehammer, and I've been through a lot, and I think it's easier as time comes. The second time around it's a lot easier. I'm more experienced. I know how everything is dealt with, and you got to deal with what you have.
Michelle, how ready are you for this quest for gold?
I feel ready. I mean, I've been skating really well. I just gotta have fun, enjoy myself here, and really do it step by step and not think about this is my life, you know, this Olympics. I've got other chances, and you know, if this doesn't work out, you know, I'm going to keep on working hard and see if any more opportunities open.
Even though she's preparing for what could be the greatest moment of her life, she's still taking some time out to see some of the sights in Nagano.
I went to the temple the other day.
Is that coaching?
Yeah, and it was really nice. But it was so cold that day. I was like, thank you. I said my prayers, and I left. I was like, it was really cold.
What'd you pray for?
I don't know. I can't tell you.
And then she was gone. What do you think she prayed for? Michelle Kwan will make her Olympic debut Wednesday night right here on CBS.
Prayed for it and trained for it. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, that little reminder here. And this morning we're celebrating the holiday of love with the romance and the passion of ice dancing. Who better to demonstrate that than a couple who really is in love? You can see it in their eyes, in their bodies, in the way they move. Elizabeth Punsalan and Jared Swallow are in love. They first met when she was 12 and he was 17.
I noticed him right away. Oh, I thought he was cute. I remember that when Jared asked me to skate with them, I figured, well, that was it for the relationship. I mean, it's not going to happen because once you are skating together, it is business, and you can't let anything else get in the way.
But more than a year after they started skating together, romance won out. Liz and Jared got married. Love only seemed to enhance their skating as they netted 4 national titles and became the first American ice dancers ever to get 2 perfect scores for artistic impression.
It took Jared and I a lot of years, I think, to be comfortable with showing our emotions for each other publicly. Actually being comfortable enough with each other to let it show on the ice, and it brings our level of performance up.
Because we see that. I mean, you can't fake what you two have in your eyes for each other. We know.
It's not right for everybody. I mean, it's a very, I think it takes a very
delicate
unique
relationship, balance.
Couple to be able to balance it.
How do y'all maintain that balance?
There are a lot of things that you can carry over into your marriage as well, as far as the communication, keeping the communication open, dealing with each other's emotions, ups and downs, you know, knowing when to lay back or knowing when to pump up the other person. It all carries over more than we realize.
Their relationship was tested on and off the ice days before they were to leave for the Lillehammer Olympics. Elizabeth's father was murdered by her mentally unstable brother. In the end, the pressure showed in their performance. The most tragic of circumstances, before one of the biggest events in your life, did it help a lot that your husband was the one who was out on the ice with you?
Definitely. I mean, when ever since Jared and I have gotten together, to be with each other on the ice has been the best part of the whole thing. And just knowing that he's always by my side and isn't going to go too far, you know, it is a great feeling.
Great feeling, too, if they can win a medal. This will be Punsalan and Swallow's final Olympics, and what's in their future? Well, they're hoping to go pro, and they're both going back to school, and they also tell me, Mark, that they'd like to start a family.
Kisses look real on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
The kisses look real on the ice. Martha Stewart.
Exclusive cable coverage of the 18th Olympic Winter Games. I'm Jim Lampley. It is 4 a.m. Valentine's Day here in Nagano. Time to turn our attention to figure skating. It's undeniable that America has had a long-standing love affair with Peggy Fleming. For those of us privileged enough to know her, it's a love that will last forever. 30 years ago, a 19-year-old Peggy Fleming, skating in a dress designed and sewed by her mother, won the gold medal in Grenoble. Wednesday, 30 years to the day of her victory, Peggy Fleming underwent surgery for breast cancer. The cancer does not appear to have spread, and Peggy, who is recovering at home in California, is expected to make a full recovery. Peggy, our wishes are with you on this Valentine's Day. For more on figure skating, let's take you now to the cutting edge.
Put on those blue suede skates and shimmy into your leather jackets. The place is jumping at White Ring. The men are looking cool and the dancers are in the groove. It's Friday night at the Hop, and the cutting edge will take you there.
even stroll it at the hop. When the record starts spinning, you your lips, or when you're chicken at the hop. Do the dance sensations that are sweeping the nation at the hop. Let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop. Oh baby, let's go to the hop. Oh baby, let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop. Let's go. Let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop. Oh baby, let's go to the hop. Oh baby, let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop.
Welcome to The Cutting Edge. I'm Alice Cook with Rosalynn Sumners and Peter Carruthers, and boy, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to boogie a little bit, talking about the dance, jive, original dance. We'll break down the men's short program, but first I think we have to bring out the fashion police, because in the men's short program, there were some costumes that just begged for discussion.
There were some unusual costumes.
You got some
By the
fashion
way,
going there, Peter.
like these? Aren't they great? I guess I could give these to Cooley.
I saw those last night,
Yeah,
yes.
I got to get these off. But seriously, the short program was a little bit bizarre as far as the
Let me help
costume
you
was
here.
concerned. Thank you very
Okay.
much. It was a little bit bizarre. Take Dmitry Dimitrenko, for example. The guy going out there, and he sort of looked like a Power Ranger, somebody out of Star Wars, and he had some padding on his shoulder if he fell down, but really what you want to do in the short program is go out, do the 8 required elements, and have a good look. Dimitrenko was a little bit bizarre with the costume.
I'd say so.
Okay, but a little distracting was Gilberto Viadana from Italy, who came out looking like Aladdin. I mean, in the jumps, you want to be able to see the leg position. I couldn't see the legs because he had billowy chiffon on.
Oh, very nice.
I don't know. For me, it was Kulik, the Russian, with a chiffon hanging off of his arms. He looked like Batman Goes to the Opera.
Well, he actually has a story behind that.
He does.
Yes, it's the net of life and how you can get trapped in the net, and then it's a man breaking free from those nets. I mean, I got that, didn't you?
Okay.
Just what I thought.
Picked up on that,
Makes
no problem.
Kulik, though, he's so far above that. His skating is so outstanding, and he really has so much natural talent. I don't think he needs all that stuff hanging from his sleeve. I'd like to see him just get out there with a nice, clean look. For example, someone that did have a really clean look was Michael Weiss. He had a nice shirt on, a nice pair of pants, and the bottom line there is you just judge what you see, the 8 required elements and some nice presentation, and most important, a nice costume.
And if you're going to have the muscles, I mean, show them off,
Ooh.
please.
Keep it simple. Well, the bottom line really is the skating, and it also helps if you can land a couple of the jumps. In the short program, those jumps better be the triple axel, triple toe combination. Let's take a look at some of those programs from the other night.
One of the most exciting nights in men's figure skating took place in this short program, and Ilya Kulik, 5th at last year's World Championships from Russia, would do this triple axel, triple toe combination just about to perfection.
He skated early in the evening, but he set the standard for the rest of the competitors. A look here at his very innovative footwork with flow, spread eagles. Again, from Moscow, training in Marlborough, Massachusetts. He was happy with that one.
Alexei Yagudin, only 17, also from Russia, perfected this. At 17 years old, he is now a factor in men's figure skating.
And of course, USA's Todd Eldredge didn't let the pressure get to him, nailed the triple axel, triple toe. Again, the sequence footwork into triple lutz. Watch the air position, legs perfectly tight.
You can't overlook the spins in the short program. And take a look at this sit spin, change, sit spin. He is so low, that's hard to do, and he does it quickly with fast rotation.
Well, and by the end of the evening, he had put to rest any doubts about changing the short program since nationals. This is what he needed, and he knew he was in the hunt.
When we come back, the king takes the stage. Elvis on ice, next.
Before he stepped on the ice, the buzz around the rink was, Elvis is hurt, Elvis is sick, Elvis looks nervous. Would he be able to pull it off? Well, when it came down to crunch time, the defending world champion certainly showed what he was made of. Here's how Rosalynn and Peter called it.
He is the 3-time world champion. 25-year-old Elvis Stojko from Richmond Hill, Ontario, Canada, has been a little under the weather leading up to this competition. We don't know exactly what's wrong, but he has not been at full capacity. Now hoping for a strong short program. The music. Kodo taiko drums, perfect for this Japanese audience.
Again, he hasn't been doing much in the last 5 days of practice, and it's all going to happen right here with the triple axel combination.
There's one.
Beautiful.
Just solid.
One of the more focused skaters. He epitomizes the Olympic ideal. He has the ability to be focused and relaxed at the same time. Footwork sequence. Coming into the next big triple, step sequence into the lutz.
The triple lutz, 3 times.
No problem, beautiful.
It looks like he's on autopilot.
He's so physically and mentally trained. Actually, Peter, one of the judges on this panel picked the music for him.
Look at the balance that he has with this footwork, the intensity. Great attack within the skating itself.
Intricate choreography by Ushi Kessler, again coached by Doug Lee.
I mean, he does not look as though anything is wrong.
And the energy never lets up in this program. This is exactly the short program he wanted to lay down.
Elvis Stojko may not be feeling at full capacity, but he has just thrown down the gauntlet to let everyone know that, hey, even when I don't feel so good, I have enough in the bank to pull out the reserve and let everybody know just who is king.
Of all the programs we've seen tonight, that has every element. The footwork, solid spins, every jump was perfect. Look at the height of this triple axel, taking the time for the triple toe like butter.
And then the triple lutz, he just has so much confidence and so much training behind him that when he gets into a situation, it is not a strain. And the center that he has throughout this footwork, the attack, the sharp movement throughout, this is outstanding. Don't forget, he is a black belt in karate, and I'm sure the martial arts have helped him along the way.
Following the short program, we caught up with Elvis.
I know I'm in a good position now in second. Sometimes being in first is a tough position to be in, so second place is a good spot, and looking forward to just staying relaxed and having a good time.
That really was a great program, but I thought he looked a little tight. He looked tight in the warm-up, and the jumps just were not that smooth in the performance.
Well, he actually looked a little green to me. I mean, feeling sick and under the weather, that's the most devastating time to come down with a bug. And he didn't have a lot of facial expression. He didn't have a lot of pizzazz in the program, but again, remember, that's not what the short program is about. It's about nailing those elements, and he did that.
Well, when he was in the warm-up for the short program, he was looking a little bit tired, but he did go out there and hit all of the elements. And the fact that he has so much conditioning behind him and that he is so mentally tough, that just speaks so much for Elvis Stojko. But no matter what you say in men's figure skating, the first word out of everyone's mouth this past year has been the quad, quad, quad. Let's take a closer look at this explosive jump.
I don't think it's the overall one element that makes everything happen. If you do a full package program with a quadruple in it, the quadruple combination, it sets you above the rest.
Anybody who really is in contention for a medal, especially the gold medal, is definitely going to need it in their repertoire.
There's been so much hype about the quad is because it's such a new jump that it's very difficult to do. Not everyone's doing it. A lot of people are trying it. A lot of mistakes have been made doing it. And it's the next evolution of jumps. It's the next revolution.
That revolution began with Sweden's Ulrich Stojko, winning 10 world championships from 1901 to 1911. Stojko left the sport with a jump named after him. Then in 48 and 52, Dick Button won 2 Olympic gold medals, and he became the first skater to do a double lutz, a double axel, and the first triple jump, a triple loop, at the 52 games. Brothers Hayes and David Jenkins won Olympic gold in 1956 and 60. David was dubbed a jumping machine. Amidst all of the athleticism, artistry was not forgotten. At the 1976 Winter Olympics, Great Britain's John Curry brought a balletic grace to the ice mixed with the right blend of jumps. In the early 80s, Scott Hamilton dominated the sport despite having no triple axels in his program. Scott won the Olympic gold medal in 1984 with the most important thing, a consistent program. By the 88 games, Brian Orser and Brian Boitano had reached international dominance. Orser, nicknamed Mr. Triple Axel, was practicing the quad, but shied away from that in competition. Boitano was also flirting with the quad barrier. That leap had become the next great hurdle in men's figure skating.
In Calgary, I had a quad prepared for the Olympic event, and I took it out until the Worlds after the Olympic event because I wasn't hitting it with the consistency that I wanted to.
Smart man. Although Brian won those 88 Worlds, it was Canadian Kurt Browning who would change history in Budapest with the first quadruple toe loop.
I had nothing to lose because I wasn't in the middle race. I wasn't putting a medal on the line if I wasn't going to land this jump. So I had everything to gain, nothing to lose. So we put the jump as the first jump in the program. And it was just, you know, a kid who just thought he could do anything, you know, bulletproof, you know. When you're a kid, you're bulletproof. And so that's what I did. I went out and did it. And it wasn't the best landing, but it did get me so excited that I had a clean skate. I think I had 7 triples in a quad, 1988 World Championships. And it really helped my career a lot.
Could there be any more rotation? Yes. In 1997, Elvis Stojko completed the first quad combination at the Champion Series finals. With that combination, Stojko vaulted himself into the record books.
I'm skating into it, I come around, I'm anticipating the jump, I know it's going to be down there. First thing goes through my mind, I can't do it. Really weird. You never think that someone that's at that level would think that way. Just for a split second, I can't do it. So I knew I had no choice but to go forward. And I had to, the pressure that was there, I can't even explain it. It's so intense. Your whole body, you can't even feel anything. Everything is pushed down. You don't feel light. As soon as I came around, I set up, going straight in. I kept the flow and I just waited. Just wait, and it's gonna happen. Picked up, and as I picked, I knew I was gonna do it. I can feel the lift straight up, and in the air I said, yeah, I'm doing it.
The quad can pay off huge dividends if you hit it, but there can also be failure. It is all part of the challenge or test. Is it worth the risk?
When you go up to do any type of sport at an elite level, you're always taking the risk. I mean, that's what creates the excitement. If there was no risk involved, it wouldn't be exciting. People wouldn't watch it. They wouldn't bet on it.
Figure skating is a risk, so it's no big difference. If I have quad, if I don't have a quad, that's figure skating all about the risk. So I'm not scared.
Well, I think that's totally up to the skater. That depends upon the mentality of the skater. It was a risk for me to perform the first triple jump. There was no doubt about it that I was going to try to do it, or that I wanted to do it, and that I was going to do it. And I didn't need it to win. So I think it depends upon the competitive juices flowing in the skater.
I've seen people do perfect quadruple jumps and then miss everything else in their program. The quad isn't the do or die. In a perfect routine, it's an enormous help. But you got to skate clean.
If you're going to have a program in today's world and you're going to achieve skills, back 10 years ago it was like triple axels and it was like, don't leave home without them. Well, now, better not leave home without a quad either.
Basically, when I step on the ice for the competitions this year, when I get out there, either I'm going to try it and hopefully do it, or I'm not going to try it at all. And there's not going to be any thought in my mind as I'm, stepping and skating into it, oh, maybe I shouldn't try it. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. You can't do that. You have to know ahead of time. You got to go out there and you got to be focused on doing it or either not doing it.
The bar is always raised a little bit higher, or you want to, get there a little bit faster. It's Citius, Altius, Fortius. The whole Olympic thing is faster, higher, stronger. You want to make sure that you can be the best at what you can be, and right now in figure skating that means you have to do a quad if you want to win. But my coach always said the only problem with executing the most difficult jump is that normally the process reverses itself, and for those of you that just went that means that normally the jump executes you. It means it takes you out of the competition. So it's the quad. There's going to be quads all over the place. For really the first time, it's going to be really prevalent. And we'll see who can step up and really deliver the goods.
It's a risk. Is it worth it?
Well, I think Hamilton nailed it because it is only one jump, and before it executes you, that's exactly it. Don't forget, there are 4.5 minutes of other spins and jumps that you have to perform. And don't forget about the presentation mark. You've got to be a stylist while you're out there as well as an athlete.
The complete package, as they say.
And you're going to see the skaters doing the quad right at the beginning of the program, first or second element. The last thing you want to do is attempt that quad when your legs start going and you start to get tired. And it really could set up the program either positive or negative.
Okay, well, we have to do some predictions, I guess.
Oh, gosh.
What do you think?
Well, after watching Elvis this season, I have to go with him for a couple of things. Number one, I think this guy just has nerves of steel, and I really don't think he's out there competing with the Kuliks and the Eldredges. The guy he's competing with is himself, and that's why I think he's above it all.
Mm-hmm. Rosalynn, what do you think?
Before I tell you my pick, I think it's important to point out that even if Elvis lands the quad but makes any other mistakes, it's going to be more important if Todd Eldredge doesn't do a quad but he skates everything clean. Again, it's that whole package thing, and my pick is USA. Todd Eldredge.
Wow.
In my heart, Todd. In my head, Elvis. That's how I'm going.
Ah, there it is.
They flip for Philippe, carry a candle for Candeloro. The heartthrob of figure skating when we return. From his fans, he earns a perfect 6.0 for presentation every time. But there's more to being a teen idol than just looking great. Philippe Candeloro continues to amaze us with his strong performances and ever-present charisma.
Well, Well, Philippe is in 5th place after the short program. Right now we have a little short track speed skating going on behind us, but of course we're going to talk figure skating. And Philippe, I know you have a big following here in Japan after you won the silver medal in the '94 Worlds. What's it like for you to be back here?
Well, you know, since the last 3 years I come back for the NHK just to have a good relationship with the Japanese people, because I was very enjoyed when the people gave it to me a lot of flower on the ice after the World Championship in '94. So I tried to give by myself something nice for them because they love me, and I try to have a good feeling with them. And for the Olympics, it's a very good opportunity for me to be here.
It's great. Well, you know, the ladies love you. We call it a heartthrob in the U.S.
Yeah.
Do you like being a heartthrob?
Of course. Of course I love, because I skate on the Saturday Night Fever the last summer, and when I skated there, I can feel like the ladies was very a big crowd for me, and was a little bit crazy for me when I take off my shirt on the ice. So that is very funny when you skate and you can listen the difference between some another skater.
Well, this may disappoint some of your fans, but I don't think a lot of people know that you do have a steady girlfriend.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend, of course.
Yes.
So, but you know, when you skate, it's just to give more pleasure and more entertainment for the public. So I think so. If the public love you for your skating, they don't think about you, my girlfriend. If I get married next year, they don't have to be afraid. They have to stay with me on the ice and have fun with my skating.
Are you getting married next year?
Maybe we have to make a choice about the date. That's the big problem for me.
Does she have any problem sharing you with all your fans?
Sometimes it's a little bit hard, because, you know, all the time it's the people want to talk only for me, only with me, and they do like Olivia is the name of my girlfriend, and they does like she don't exist. So sometimes it's a little bit hard for her, but she since 4 years ago, and she learned to live with this idea with me.
Well, after the '94 Olympics, you became a big star in the U.S. and in France, and then not much. How hard has it been for you the last couple of years?
Well, you know, I keep my my popularity in France, and I have seen this summer I've been in the United States for the Tom Collins tour, and I feel very well that I cannot feel like my popularity is going down. So because I keep all the time the same feeling with the public, not for the result. And I think so the public love me for my skating, not for my result. Because I never get a gold medal anywhere, any place. So, but I don't care, because me, I skate with my feeling and with my pleasure. So I have never chance to have to be disappointed about the public and give me less popularity or not, because I skate always we enjoy, and I give more feeling for the public.
Are you going to make your big comeback in these Olympics?
I will try, of course. You know, I have a new free skating, and the people love it, and it's on the D'Artagnan's program for the free skating, and I think the people like it. The all judges like it, so it's the first time of my amateur career like the judges like the program when I come back for the first competition.
All right.
So we will see tomorrow.
Okay, good luck, and thank you very much for being with us. We're going to talk about the jive coming up, the original dance.
Okay.
Can you help us with this? Will you take us into break?
All right.
Go right ahead.
Here. Okay.
Right there.
You are the right place where we had the hop.
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
Well, we're very fortunate to have with us today Isabelle Duchesne, who is the 1991 World Dance Champions with her brother Paul. And you are known for a very unorthodox approach to dancing.
Well, we tried to be innovative. That was the key element here. And doing so, we were punished a little bit. But I think it's good for the sport.
To keep stretching. And obviously this original dance is something new. What is an original dance?
Well, the original dance this year is rock and roll and jive. Very, very upbeat and difficult to do. So it's quite a challenge for the skaters.
And we have lyrics now. This is something very new.
Yes, the rules have changed quite a bit, and that is good. I'm all for it. We have lyrics. We have lifts. 3 lifts are allowed in the OD. Also, unlimited amount of assisted jumps. So I think it's a good step forward for ice dancing.
And being so new, though, are the judges going to have a hard time judging this?
Well, they made up the rules. They better know how to judge it. I think it's going to be a big change for them since they're not used to maybe counting so many lifts in an OD. They're used to doing that in a free dance, and assisted jumps being part of the rules too. That's also, adding on to the complexity of the thing. But I think it's going to be a very, very interesting OD now that we have all that freedom, all that much more.
Are the skaters enjoying more freedom?
Oh, I think they are. They seem to be enjoying, the rock and roll jive event, and they're very wild in it. And I've been looking at the practices, and it's just been terrific.
Now, it can be looking a little bit like an exhibition. Is that a problem for both the skaters and the judges?
Well, I don't think it's a problem. I think you've got to really maintain the rock and roll jive feeling and not let it look like a free dance, but like the ballroom thing, plus a little bit of, stunts and jumps in it. So I think they're capable of doing that.
Well, it's going to be exciting. Now let's take a closer look with Chris Schenkel about how one of the top Russian teams is handling this jive dance craze.
Wipe out the waltz, toss the tango, and do a hop jump to the jive. For the first time in the 22 years of Olympic ice dance, it's vocal jive rock and roll that has become the chosen theme for original dance. And it is getting tremendous applause, especially from these Russians, Angelika Krylova and Oleg Oznianikov.
Before perestroika, it's a difficult situation in country, and country want everything just Russian, very Russian. No want people drink Coca-Cola, no want people see how dance rock and roll.
When Angelika was a small girl, her father would always play the guitar and play popular music like the Beatles, and Angelika would sing the songs as he played. He had tapes of the Beatles that were illegal at that time in the Soviet Union.
Rock and roll, or twist, boogie-woogie, maybe the same jive. Jive was not so popular. Was like symbol of freedom, and of course it was very difficult to buy the records from Beatles or Rolling Stones, I don't know, Shadows, but it was possible.
Everybody just a little bit worried, everybody just a little bit afraid, but everybody dance.
And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Hen Sports Cage here on 91.3 WVUD. This week we have a special guest on the Blue Hen Sports Cage, two of the figure skaters from the University of Delaware, and it's Angelika Krylova, is that right? And Oleg Oznianikov.
For Angelika and Oleg, home away from Moscow is the University of Delaware, where they are happy to share their memories of Russia.
What sort of music do they have on the radio in Russia?
You know, any music, and you have American music a lot, and Russian music, some station it's just Russian music.
Classic channel, jazz channel, rock and roll channel, like everything.
Now I think it's more free, and like every music, and you can listen everything.
We got a caller here. Hello, Blue Hen Sports Cage.
Hi, I was wondering what your favorite rock and roll song was, and if maybe you could play it for us today.
We want to listen Beatles and Come Back in USSR.
Okay, I think we got that. This is 91.3 WVUD. We'll be right back.
My opinions, each people loves so much jive music or rock and roll music or boogie-woogie music. And immediately you cannot stay, you cannot sit down, you cannot stay, you cannot be upset. And it's really fire. Fire in eyes, fire in blood, fire in muscles, fire in skin. And it's a great idea. I like so much rock and roll.
It's one thing to like rock and roll, and another to dance it on ice. For Angelika, it was an easy transition. Once the Iron Curtain came down, she turned her stereo up.
When Angelika was a teenager, she was like all teenagers, listening to techno and disco music, and sometimes she would make it so loud, I would have to go into another room. but I would never tell her to turn it down. She loved it too much.
It was Oleg who had difficulty with these new moves. Jive doesn't come easy to everyone, he says.
I'm saying unbelievable, impossible. Impossible. I don't make steps like this one because it's very quick.
Yes, for somebody it's difficult, for somebody it's easy, and with work I think everything is possible.
Yeah.
Everything is possible.
You work. And now I like jive. It's
Very
like
much.
Like my favorite dance.
You better come inside, let me teach you how to jive and wheel.
These days, even Boris Yeltsin is doing the jive. But that's not to say the Russian head dance is outdated.
Well, they're obviously having fun, and they've really mastered the theatrical side of this original dance. What about the technical side?
Well, that's what the judges are going to be looking for. Everybody can pretty well stand out there and wave their arms and look really happy and bouncy, but you've got to include the difficulties, and that's what the judges are going to be aiming for.
And how are all the top teams comparing against each other?
Oh, that's a difficult question because Krylova is very theatrical. Grishak Platov, very technical, but they can also be very theatrical. So it's going to be a toss-up, I think.
Can it come down to the free dance after the original in the placements?
Definitely. That is going to be the key of the whole problem right there is, the free dance. Whoever wins it is going to have probably the best time out there.
And what about politics? Is there politics in ice dancing?
I think so. I'm afraid so. So that's another key element right there. You've got all these elements, to put together, and God knows what's going to happen in the end.
So let's cut to the chase, Isabel. Who's going to win the gold medal?
I don't know who is going to win, but I hope that the best skater does, the one who's playing fair, who's got the rules down, who's got the most exciting and difficult program.
Wow. Well, thank you for joining us. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Real nervous about it, show is fun. Come on, baby.
On the set here.
Good.
Welcome
Gracious. Great balls of fire.
Very nice of us. Welcome back to the cutting edge. Do we have to? Welcome back to the Cutting Edge, part of TNT's exclusive coverage of the 1998 Olympic Winter Games. Got the ladies behind us. It's all getting into full swing here. Everyone's here, and I'm telling you, it's only going to get better from here.
I'm feeling the charge. I really am. I mean, we started a little slow with the pairs event. It was exciting, but it really came out as predicted. The men's, everything in the top can just go any direction, and now as the ladies come in one by one, you're feeling the energy and the motivation.
Roz, you look charged.
Wow.
Into it.
And by the way, a little fashion police update. I've been checking out the ladies behind us, and let me tell you, the costumes look awesome.
The ladies
Absolutely
are looking good, huh?
no problem with the costumes.
I don't think he's checking out the costumes, Alice.
I think you're right. Well, I think that's it for today's show. For Rosalynn Sumners, Peter Carruthers, I'm Alice Cook. We'll see you tomorrow.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I let you love what I thought it was funny. You came along and woo, now honey, I've changed my mind. This love is fine. It's just great balls of fire. Kisses, baby. Feels good. Hold me, baby. Well, I want to love you like I love a should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine. That you're mine like you went on my thumb. Real nervous about it, show is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.